That's crazy. On the one hand, we have the people that are making these demands, a representative from the union. On the other hand, we have what really matters, the stocks. Okay, let's be real. What's the stock going to look like? That's so sick. All right, let's get to Kaiser Permanente.
Strike across the U.S. could start in about 24 hours. Tens of thousands of healthcare workers at Kaiser Permanente are threatening to walk out if a new contract is not reached by tomorrow's deadline. Our consumer investigative correspondent, Anna Werner, looks at the potential impact. Anna, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nate. Yeah, Kaiser Permanente and union leaders began the negotiating in April of this year, but the workers' contract expired on Saturday. Now, if they're unable to reach an agreement, more than 75,000 healthcare workers will go.
Dude, I didn't even read a single thing about this. Let me tell you, okay? I know exactly what they're striking for. Are you ready? Didn't read a single piece of information on it, okay? Staff more nurses. Staff more nurses. Increase nurse pay and staff more nurses. It is fucking insane. They never get any benefits. They rarely ever get time off, and they are stretched too thin. These are not demands being made specifically for lazy nurses that just want to work less, but instead specifically made so that they can provide better health care to everyone, okay? Do you want to know why I know this? Without seeing the fucking strike. Actually, you know what? Let's watch it first and see if I'm wrong on this or not.
The strike would target hundreds of Kaiser medical facilities and hospitals in several states and Washington, D.C. The coalition says some of the hundreds of jobs that could be affected by the strike include nurses, pharmacists, technicians, therapists, dietary services, housekeepers, and more. They say they're calling for safe staffing levels and higher wages.
Yeah. You want to know why I was right without actually fucking reading a single line here? Because it's been the consistent fucking problem. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, during COVID. It's literally the same. Talk to a single fucking nurse. Talk to any healthcare professional that isn't a fucking doctor, and they will tell you how insane the situation is. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's literally it. And it's always the same. And every fucking hospital system, every healthcare provider system goes, oh, we can't do that. And then they just like wait it out and try to fuck over the nurses by overpaying traveling nurses who are professional scabs, okay, more money than they could actually ever imagine paying the fucking actual staff nurses. Oh, doctors don't do shit. Yeah, okay, dude. Come on, brother.
Kaiser Permanente said its goal is to reach a fair and equitable agreement and that it's hired 22,000 frontline employees so far this year. If a deal is not met, the workers would strike Wednesday for up to 3 days. Patients might experience delays or cancellations, including those who need to fill a prescription or need lab work or x-rays. So it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's like, it's never, this has always been consistent. Just every single instance, every single time there's any labor action on the healthcare side, this is always what they are demanding. They are so insanely fucking reasonable, okay? Better wages, increase wages, okay, which is totally understandable, and hire more nurses. It's so fucked. Full-time nurses.
A lot at stake. There's something happening with unions in the country these days.
Yes,
like scene out of that movie.
Experts we spoke to yesterday said there is.
Yeah.
There is.
Yep. Remember that movie? Mad as hell, not going to take it anymore. Something happening. Thank you, Anna. Good to have you at the table.
Nearly 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers are expected to walk out on October 4th if an agreement to resolve a staffing crisis is not.
Yeah, the real problem on October 4th is when potential Kaiser Permanente healthcare professionals walk out, okay? That's the real problem, not the fucking the emergency sound you will hear from your fucking phone, okay?
Reached by the end of this week. The stoppage would be the largest healthcare strike in U.S. history and could cause a major disruption to the broader ecosystem. For more on what to expect, we're joined by Caroline Lucas, Executive Director of the Coalition of Kaiser Permanente Unions. And for the impact on stocks, Mizuho's healthcare sector specialist Jared Holt joins us at...
That's crazy. Dude, this is such a sick setup. They're like, hey, guys, on the one hand, we have the people that are making these demands, a representative from the union. On the other hand, We have what really matters, the stocks. Okay, let's be real. What's the stock going to look like? That's so sick.
As well, welcome to you both.
This is more honest than any other kind of mainstream media coverage on union action. I'll take it. Here's why. Okay? Because they rarely ever show these two conflicting values in such obvious terms. Okay? It's like a fucking, it's like if I had an alarm at the top of the hour that said like, 3-minute ad break incoming instead of just doing a segue. Okay? This is dialectics? Yes, it is. It is. I love that. I love that they're basically saying like, whose side are you on? Moneyed interests? The nurses are there. They just don't let enough work for each shift. They started having us rank our patients by acuity, aka how much work/care they require. And the higher the ranking, the more nurses are called for. So we lie if we have to, then we get enough staff. I'm sure that won't last. A resident nurse has chimed in. A resident nurse and also famed writer, producer, actor from Pixar Sodas from episode 1 podcast. But yeah, like I was saying, it's just if I were to tell you, 3-minute ad break is coming, and then didn't tell you that you can avoid those ads by subscribing for $5 or free with a Twitch Prime or by getting gifted a sub. Here's a 3-minute ad break now. Yes, guys, I will not be giving autographs. I am Diet Mountain Dew, okay? That's me. Yes, you might have recognized my sound from the $1 trillion Disney Pixar production, Sodas. Bro, these dudes are still fighting. What the fuck? Great, so why can't you figure out that if your apartment building got invaded by another country and 60% of your neighbors were murdered and tortured, some of them were still held captive, but you got away, you wouldn't want to fight to rescue them? Why saw theirs so fucking hard for you to apply to the situation? Oh my God. This is the problem with like Ukraine and NATO Andes is that they thrive for the debate. Like, you think owning this fucking guy is going to change anything, brother? What are you doing? Like, don't worry. $20 billion is going to go to Ukraine, whether that guy says whatever he wants or not, okay? It does not matter. If your goal genuinely is to, like, ensure that Ukraine gets properly funded and properly has the proper weapons, like, fear not. That's going to happen regardless, okay? Why the fuck are we still debating the minutia in the chat? People are still going to die. Okay, Russia is still invading. Okay? I just don't understand what good this does in your mind. Like, debating a random chatter in the chat. What does this do for you? And the same goes for the other chatter, too. No, they're just lashing out because I called him a lib. I mean, but I just don't get it. I don't get why. What is happening? My ask is, where was this energy for Muslim countries? What? Like, what would be the energy that, like, to ask America for weapons so that America could not be able to invade the same countries he's giving weapons to? Like, I don't understand. Wow, what a fucking youngest flexer in the game, dude. Look at this guy. He bought this golden kappa for 13 grand, okay? 13 fucking grand. Imagine spending 13 grand or more on the golden kappa. It's like as stupid as like paying $17,000 to collaborate with someone who, when you could just do it for free. Dumbass. Ha! Who would do such a stupid thing? Bro, you don't even stream on this platform. Okay? You don't even stream on this platform, and you paid. You love Twitch so much, dude. You love Twitch so much. You have Twitch tattooed on your body. You don't even have a YouTube tattoo. You have a Twitch tattoo on your fucking body, and you spent 13 grand on a platform that you're not even on. Also, why aren't you subscribed? The fuck is that? You're a multimillionaire. You better fucking hit that subscribe button right now, son of a bitch, and give some subs. Especially if you're going to farm me for your fucking YouTube video or whatever the fuck you're doing with this golden kappa. Motherfucker said, not in this car, and has been actively criticizing Twitch, just following every little thing that happens on here, constantly cutting videos about how Twitch is falling apart. Ludwig's analysis on Twitch falling apart is like every fucking essayist that talks about how China is falling apart every week, okay? Ludwig's like, guys, this is it. Twitch is over, okay? Every fucking week. And the same enjoyers The same enjoyers of the China collapse enjoyers love the same type of MAGA commentary from MAGA Mail saying Twitch is collapsing tomorrow, folks. Lexi T, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Ludwig. MAGA Mail follows the State Department when it comes to criticism of Twitch. Yeah.
Caroline, we'll start with you. Tell us about the staffing crisis you're experiencing.
Thank you so much, Kelly. I just want to say that we have been raising the alarm as frontline healthcare workers about the staffing crisis now for years. We are really concerned about the impact to not just worker safety, but also patient care of continually working short. And Kaiser executives are not showing up with the urgency needed to address this short staffing crisis.
So as I read here, patients are seeing, and these are, I assume, mostly hospital patients, wait times for appointments, medication, x-rays, phone responses,
same with pharmacists, yes,
are intolerable and in some cases at dangerous levels. Kaiser wants to raise premiums by 15% while providing less care. Do I sort of have that right as you guys see it?
Kelly, you nailed it. We are really concerned about a healthcare system that is showing up in a way that undermines the staffing levels needed to deliver the safe patient care that you and I as consumers count on.
By the way, 75,000 workers out of 85,000 may walk out. Is that because those 10,000 are critical? It's one thing when we're talking, I'm not saying the auto workers aren't essential, but, you know, nurses, and that's a whole other level.
You know, absolutely. Every single one of our healthcare workers wants to be bedside with their patients. That's what they signed up for. That's what they worked on throughout the pandemic. That's where they.
Can someone please explain to me why the Dems would vote McCarthy out since they'll never get a Dem in the seat until maybe 2024? Wouldn't they want McCarthy, as he is definitely more moderate and cooperative than whatever piece of shit Matt Gaetz tries to get in? On what planet was McCarthy more cooperative and a centrist? McCarthy literally reneged on a previous offer to fucking fund the federal government and also allowed a fucking Hunter Biden, Joe Brandon fake-ass impeachment proceeding to continue. If he's the most moderate Republican they have, like, it's cooked anyway, which it is, for the record. That's what happens when you lose elections, by the way. Like, he's not a moderate, okay? It doesn't matter who the fuck is in that position. They're going to be psychopaths regardless, okay? And also, chaos in the Republican Party is a good thing for the Democratic Party. It makes them look like clowns. It's a fucking clown show over there. They're infighting for no particular reason. And that is certainly a good thing for, like I said, the Democratic Party.
They want to be today, tomorrow, and next Wednesday. But tens of thousands of healthcare workers, frontline healthcare providers, feel like they can no longer show up in good faith if we are not having the staffing levels needed to provide the care that we count on.
So do you think a strike is going to happen? If it's never happened before, what do you think the reaction by patients and so much else is going to be? And what are the sticking points? I mean, in the UAW strike, it all seems to come down to wage negotiations. Is that the case here?
Staffing are the sticking points. And what we want is simple. We want Kaiser executives to bargain in good faith with frontline healthcare workers. We want Kaiser executives to solve the Kaiser short staffing problem. And we want patients to be safe and get the best possible care when they come to Kaiser facilities.
So you want a lot more nurses. Are you even asking for a pay raise?
You know, our comprehensive proposal covers a whole bunch of areas. It does include wages and benefits, because wages and benefits are a critical part of attracting the folks that we need in the healthcare industry and retaining the ones that we have. As I'm sure you know, we're seeing an exodus of healthcare workers, and we don't have enough new people coming in to staunch that tide.
Here's the statement that Kaiser Permanente gave to CNBC. They said a strike authorization does not reflect a breakdown in bargaining, nor does it mean a strike is imminent or will happen at all. It is a disappointing action considering our progress at the bargaining table. Unfortunately, we've seen coalition leaders attempt to rally members through a strike despite important progress made through negotiations. What about this is not quite hitting the mark for you?
Oh, Kelly, we have been bargaining for months over really critical issues. And while some minimal progress has been made, all of the thorniest issues, including a comprehensive solution to the Kaiser short staffing crisis,
I'm gonna
come on the horizon. So we are showing up this weekend. We will be available 24/7.
Okay. Did I miss it, or did she not ask any questions to the stonk person? Like, I was listening while I was peeing, and I didn't hear a singular question asked on the stonk guy.
Until the moment we walk out on strike to try to reach an agreement, because every single frontline healthcare worker wants to be providing care.
Would you say that at this point we should expect at least a 3-day strike?
I would say at this point that we are optimistic, but not hopeful that we will be able to avert a strike. And we are trying our best to figure out how we get Kaiser Permanente executives to wake up and listen to the alarm bells that are being sounded by frontline healthcare workers.
All right, Caroline, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Caroline Lucas.
Damn, that was it? That's crazy.
Sounds like, again...
Wait, what the fuck? They don't let him duke it out? Is the second part? Trump's next speaker is real. Hannity's sources are telling me that some Republicans have been in contact and started an effort to draft former Trump to be the next speaker, and I haven't been told that Trump might be open. And I've been told, oh my God!
Again, now McCarthy will not.
Oh, that's so sick. That's fucking so sick, dude. Yo, that's so dumb. America is a fucking clown show, dude. That's awesome. He's going to try to be like, I can't go to jail because I'm the Speaker of the House. Oh, that's so sick. But he isn't even in Congress. What? Wait till you find out you don't have to be in Congress to be the Speaker of the House. You just have to get the votes, which has never happened before. Bro, this is very, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is like kind of like not American. Like they say like, oh, this is banana republic stuff, but like it kind of is. This is like very Turkish or maybe like Israel. You know what I mean? Like fallen former regime leader claws back to power while under multiple investigations. Like that is very much not like the serious American government shit. That is very much like Empire in Decline hours. This is cool as fuck. They tried this already in early 2023, but he told them to fuck off. I mean, he said fuck off in early 2023, but now, you know, facing down the barrel of 91 charges, you know what I mean? He did everything right and they indicted him. This is sick. I just don't think he'll do it because the Speaker of the House is such an unfortunate position. Unless you're like a rugged statesman and a disgusting piece of shit who actually knows how to influence people and cut deals, which Trump does not, I don't think that he'd be able to do that role. It also requires him to like do too much work. That is like one position that you have to be like an incredibly annoying loser who wants it really fucking bad and a giant nerd. You can't really get away with like being the Speaker of the House and not really doing that. Like you could do that for president. You could literally be the president, not really do too much, and just have your staffers and everybody take care of it. You can't really do that for the Speaker position. It's like if Trump is Speaker, you know hits are going to be put on Biden and Kamala. Yeah. Second in line to the presidency, they're assassinating Joe Brandon by sneezing on him. Oh my God. Oh my God, America is so sick. Wow. Trump gets voted in as Speaker of the House, and then Joe Brandon and Kamala get like assassinated, and then Trump is president. And then Trump says, this doesn't count, so I'm still running for re-election. And look at me, I'm making America great again. MBS immediately increases the oil supply. Oil prices go down like that, okay? All of a sudden, Trump, who has a better relationship with like the big corporate giants, he did give them major tax cuts, is telling them they got to cut the shit out. They got to lower their prices no matter what. Doesn't matter how. They actually end up driving prices down. Inflation is solved. Everyone's going, oh my God, President Donald Trump is the greatest leader of all time. He's like the FDR, but on the right wing. He's instituting MAGA communism, okay? It's like full-blown fascism. He's now moved away from proto-fascism. He's just a full-blown fascist. He's just doing fucking all the worst shit. This fanfic sucks. I mean, it's just like accelerating America's decline. Yeah, America, the final season script just dropped. There you go. Anyway, it's also the dumbest thing that could happen, which is why I think maybe it'll happen.
seek the speakership again. Now, sources telling me at this hour some House Republicans have been in contact with and have started an effort to draft former President Donald Trump to be the next speaker. And I have been told that President Trump might be open to helping the Republican Party, at least in the short term, if necessary, if it's needed. Anyway, McCarthy will not.
Note of caution, this is also coming from Hannity, so you know. Yeah, but Hannity literally has direct access to Donald Trump. He sucks his dick every night. So I feel like he might have access to information that we do not have access to. You know what I mean? That we are not privy to. Anyway, let's keep going.
Maybe this starts as a 3-day effort. Unlike with the auto workers, you can't imagine something like this could really drag on.
Kelly, thanks for having me. I agree. It doesn't sound like this is going to be a major fiasco for the company or the stocks in healthcare. You know, we're looking at a 3-day strike potentially. I think this is one of the many issues that's impacting the healthcare sector and the medical device space more specifically. But to Caroline's point, I think there's a lot of optimism. Obviously, it may not happen, but even if it does, we're looking at a few days. So at worst, we're looking at some deferred procedures that will take place over the coming weeks or months.
Before talking about medical devices in particular, what would happen if hospitals and maybe some that are not public?
This stock guy is like giving more of a favorable to the union side talking point. So the host has to turn around and go, no, but give us like the real bad stuff. Like think about evil, dead people. Think about like people dying, corpses piling in the streets. Like, can you paint a more grim reality than one that is conciliatory to the demands of the union?
Publicly traded or anything like that, but if they had to increase staffing levels to what this union would like to see happen.
Oh, never mind. She said,
well, I think that's
is
really
it feasible? Or the demand's feasible?
Question for Kaiser at the end of the day in terms of how many staff some of the workers there feel are needed to supplement the existing workforce and things of that nature. But I doubt it would really impact the ecosystem beyond, the 40 to 50 hospitals that they're operating and a lot of the other physician office spaces that they own as well. So it's really much more specified for them and less for the broader network.
Yeah, it's been just an intense couple of years for the healthcare sector in particular, having to kind of go through COVID, coming out of it, and then feeling like now they have chronic staffing shortages. So you mentioned medical devices. Let's talk about why this area in particular could see more fallout. Talk me through that.
Well, there are so many cross currents taking place in medical devices. We have obviously the biggest one has been the impact that these obesity medications could have on the broader space. You and I have talked about it at length before in terms of, what the weight loss medications are going to do to delay or defer.
Yo, this is kind of sick. What the fuck? CNBC is like gamified shit to this degree. I kind of like it. Can you imagine if CNN did this? But like instead of just stock options or stock ownership, they also fucking put like corporate subsidiaries that this person is like lobbied for. You know what I mean? Wow. I mean, obviously they would never do that because then like the entire screen would be lit up every time someone comes on to talk about like how, Vladipu is worse than Hitler and is definitely doing Hitler stuff. And the only way to stop it is by buying HIMARS from Raytheon. Or whichever fucking company makes. And that we also need to put HIMARS inside of Taiwan, that sort of thing. The screen would just be like filled to the brim with all of the military attachments.
A lot of the procedures that are taking place, whether it's cardiovascular, orthopedic, et cetera, the diabetes medical device stocks have gotten hammered. Sleep apnea is another category that has obviously been decimated as the street is kind of.
That's so funny that like Ozempic is such a miracle drug for obesity. It's Lockheed Martin. Thank you, Chelsea. It's such a good drug for obesity and like tackling obesity that the sleep apnea stocks are down. What the fuck? We've moved beyond Kaiser, by the way. He's now just talking about straight like, one drug that is like preventative for all of the other medical issues is just like is harming the stock considerations of other drugs that are secondary care for people who are obese. Ozempic is not for obesity; it's for diabetes. Yeah, I know that. Except in the next, like Ozempic, Wegovy, these types of drugs in the next wave are going to be more famous for literally solving obesity than anything else. And yes, the FDA has approved it for obesity.
Thinking that these patients are going to be in much better shape and there's going to be less need for some of these devices. We're going to see, I don't know, I feel like the level of degradation that the stocks have seen from a valuation standpoint has been so extreme that we're kind of anticipating some meaningful downward revisions for revenue. And if we don't get them, then I think, maybe there's going to be a pause in the action and these stocks will actually work. But the narrative is obviously, very noisy and significant, and it's been very, very difficult to kind of disprove it.
And finally, is there any other fallout to the broader healthcare space that we should think about, whether it's from pressure on expenses through the strike and so forth?
I don't really think so. I mean,
the real problem is if they've shut off the Ozempic Wegovy faucet after getting everybody on it. I mean, there's two different problems. One, we don't know what the long-term complications might be from it, like especially thyroid-related issues potentially. And there's also the what is it, like there's like intestinal problems that it causes sometimes. But that is terrifying. The other terrifying prospect is also if they shut it off, it's going to be fucking awful. For one, people who need it for diabetes, and two, people who are on it for years can never get off of it, because if they do, then they're fucked. They will be omega obese, because if you rely on an appetite suppressant, which they think might even have something to do with addiction, that's what I've heard. Like they don't know. I don't think they fully understand why Ozempic or Wegovy actually suppresses your appetite. They think it might even have to do. It might have something to do with like literal addiction, because like it tackles not specifically like an appetite suppressant, but might have something to do with like dealing with addiction. But once, but I do know for a fact that there's a major rebound on drugs like this, because you rely on it, and if you don't have it, then you get extra hungry and you rebound back. So one thing that doctors should at least always push for is to create a healthy habit in your life and don't just rely on the medication. But if people aren't doing that and they're still eating like shit, but eating much, much less because they have no appetite for it, I don't know. Don't tell doctors how to doctor. I'm an American, goddammit. What the fuck do you mean? Why the hell am I an American if I can't tell medical professionals what to do and what not to do? Fuck? Kidding me? I'm a fucking idiot, dude. I love hearing my own goddamn voice. That's like part of being an American.
We're looking at some of the impacts that, some of the suppliers and device companies are going to kind of be held with over the near term. The strike is kind of a near-term issue, and one that has really crept up over the past couple of weeks. And hopefully, that risk subsides sometime this weekend into next week, and we can all kind of move forward. But I don't think there's going to be a major issue with respect to insurance companies or providers as a result, at least not obviously.
Well, I'm very curious if this happens, or even if it gets close, if we could really see it spread to other parts of the not the workforce, but the healthcare workforce in particular. Jared, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
It suppresses your appetite by delaying gastric emptying, slows everything down. Meds like Contrave help the addiction to food aspect. When you develop a tolerance and end up eating more, no. As long as like the dosage is kept consistent, I don't think that that's how that would work. But the real problem is if you're off of it. If you're off of the medication, you rebound like crazy. Actually, you become fatter than you were before. There's some studies on it, which makes sense. That's how appetite suppressants work. Dr. Mike is a great video about obesity medicine with a bariatric doctor that dives into a lot of this, including surgery. I mean, I've had 2 of my family members have gastric bypasses, a bariatric surgery. My dad got the full snip, which is like literally down to the goddamn intestines. They like shave off, they cut parts of your intestines as well. So his process is like similar to a dog. Like dogs eat the food and the body catches as much as it possibly can and then immediately shit out the food. That's what his internal gastric structure currently resembles. That's what it is. Isn't that crazy? Just compare your dad to a dog. You have no fucking like reading comprehension. Is that what you think I said? Is that what you understood from that? Yes, the food doesn't digest as much as it would. Has he kept the weight off? Yes, he has, actually. And it fixed a lot of his other additional healthcare complications. But he was on the verge of death. You know what I mean? He almost died multiple times. So it was a medical necessity. My brother got gastric bypass as well. Not to the same degree as my dad. And so did my cousin. I think people, this chatter is correct. I think people, doctors or medical professionals look at the still unknown long-term complications and they weigh it against the current health complications with obesity. And they say, you know, that's probably why it's better to just be on Wegovy and actually lose the weight. Except, unless those long-term complications are significantly more dire than we previously thought they were. I'm a bit of a Luddite when it comes to medicine, though. As much as I love modern medicine and ride for it every goddamn day of the week, I am still terrified of being reliant on a singular medication to meet my goals, you know? What about your hair loss medication? Yeah, that's a good question. It shows you that it's a more nuanced issue. Yes, I take drugs, right? I'm not always anti-drug, but I am terrified of appetite suppressants because I just don't want to rely on it. But also I understand how fucking difficult of a journey and a process it is to legitimately lose the weight and keep the weight off. Basically, virtually impossible.